When Bram Stoker wrote his classic horror tale Dracula, he popularized and sensationalized an actual phenomenon of vital interchange that operates mostly unnoticed and, not as sensationally, as his tale implies. To put it in simple terms, vampirism is the ability of someone to utilize the occult vital interchange to draw off energy from another individual, leaving the other person feeling weak, drained, exhausted, or practically helpless, and held under a type of spell to carry out the bidding of the person who is dominating their vital force. The vitality can be drained to such a degree that it can lead to various forms of illness and wasting away of the life force and will to survive and thrive. Vampirism can take place at a relatively low level when it is not consciously enhanced and fortified through the action of any powerful forces of the vital plane that feed upon human vital energy. An extension or subset of this phenomenon is vampirism that takes place utilizing the sexual energy. The result is similar, but since it is focused on the powerful force of the sex drive, it can lead to a form of sexual slavery and submission to the will of the perpetrator to virtually anything demanded of the victim, including deploying the sexual energy to entice and capture third parties and subject them to the will of the original perpetrator. There is also the potentiality of binding the victims despite various forms of abuse, threats, and even physical harm carried out upon them. It is from actual instances of this type of vital vampirism that the more sensational horror genre has emerged and distorted the reality far beyond its original power or scope of action. Most people, being unaware of the actual subtle vital interchanges that take place and the manner in which these forces work, do not realize consciously that their energy is being drained through certain vital relationships, whether sexual in nature or not, other than perhaps a passing reference to feeling exhausted after a meeting with someone who happens to exercise this form of action. As the spiritual seeker awakens to the action of the occult forces that operate behind the overt external actions, he can both begin to identify these actions and the people who express them, consciously or unconsciously, and create a wall of protection to enhance the strength of their vital envelope or aura to ensure they are not victimized, or else they can choose to consciously avoid such individuals so as to not subject themselves to that force. The protective force can be built up through active conscious efforts of will and rejection of undesired vibrational impulses, through use of mantras, or through consecration to a protective deity or guru, as the case may be. Sri Aurobindo writes, quote, "When people mix together, there is generally some interchange of vital forces, which is quite involuntary. Vampirizing is a special phenomenon, a person who lives upon the vital of others and flourishes vitally at their expense. The tired feeling which the people felt after seeing this X is a sign of vampirism, but very often there is no such feeling, but there is an after effect on the whole. The nerves get gradually wrong. What is called the nervous envelope becomes weak, or in one way or another the vitality becomes weak or gets into an abnormal condition, excitable and irritable. There are many such ways in which the effect shows itself. Sex vampirism is a different matter. In sex interchange, the normal thing is to give and take, but the sex vampire eats up the other's vital and gives nothing or very little." End quote. Reference, Sri Aurobindo and the Mother, The Hidden Forces of Life, Chapter 1, Life Through the Eyes of the Yogin, page 19.